I forgot to actually hit live. Today I really am. Okay, so very briefly what I was saying there before I forgot to actually start the live stream. Um, was that I am really sorry to have started the stream an hour later than anticipated. Sleep deprivation got to me in a way that it hasn't really done so before. One moment, please. And um, I realized then that I had to rest, like that I needed to sleep. Wonderful. Now we are actually live. But it's alright. Failure is not final. Success is not fatal. It's the willingness to continue that counts. Or how did the Churchill quote go? Actually, we are at the very least not in Churchill. Failure is not fatal. Failure quote. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Yeah, okay. That sounds very good. That sounds pretty decent. As as you can probably tell, I am quite considerably tired. But we can at the very least share the. I apologize also that I did not quite I had not quite um organized the stream quite in the way, the donation campaign quite in the way that I should have. So let's do an advertisement now. But we are here now, so let's start reading. Red Cross Wikipedia. Let's try and think of it as a sort of ASMR stream. I am sorry, you can probably tell that my brain is still a little the not to be confused with the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Well, the societies is more focused on the societies themselves rather than the history of the movement of the Red Cross. Thus, I believe that it will be better Because I believe that it will be better to start with the article on the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, rather than. Okay, this will be a. By the way, after the stream, I will myself donate $10 to this campaign. Um, if you can afford a laptop, please consider donating to the Red Cross. Now, who is it naming in the movement here? Is it called as the committee? No, the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. To the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Through my Tiltify. Through my Tiltify campaign. Oops. And I think that I should have this link over here. Copy the donate link. I do apologize. Wow. I am. I am feeling more tired, actually. Hey, don't be angry. No angry. Alright. I think that everything should be ready here. So, let us go back to Zatsu room. You know the drill by now. Studio mode, Zatsu room 2. Let's use a browser for karaoke or something. And we got it here. Excellent. Everything looks good here, so... Oh, but one thing that I should try to make sure of is when we get to the other things. Okay, nothing too bad is shown. And it does not show the options either when I right click. So that is a good thing to keep in mind. It does not show the options when I Here, let me. Oh. Okay. Let's hide this, and for now we're going to move this over here so that it doesn't interfere um, with the article itself. Is Lanxos area or Bicubic better? This is Lanxos. I guess that Lanxos is a bit better for written text. So, for the time being, I will. Oh dear. I apologize for being so unprepared, but for the time being, we are going to simply read the article, and maybe if I pick up enough energy, um, after the after reading a little, I will perhaps already do a few annotations for both this and the lupus presentation. But in general, I am indeed noticing that when I am in front of a camera, especially live, I do tend to get quite a bit more nervous. So it is something that I have to take into account next time that I attempt to do something like this. To keep in mind, hey, you will probably not be able to think as clearly as you do normally because you are going to be nervous due to standing in front of a presumably live audience. So that is something that you should try to keep in mind. That you will probably have your brain is probably going to be a little bit um, non-ready for everything. Oh, can I get to this in time? Can I get to this in time? Can I get to this in time? Oh, I got to it almost in time. Oh, that is inspiring. At the very least, that is inspiring. All right. So, let us begin. The International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. So, we first start with what is the Red Cross? It is probably utilized. Sorry. It is probably one of the most renowned charity organizations worldwide. We know that the Red Cross has something to do with healing or with assistance to wounded in various battlefields. But what is the Red Cross? And here you can also see the other symbols that are utilized in different regions of the world. The red cross, the crescent, and the red crystal. Oh, and this must be the Israeli symbol. Um, there must be a few, like one or two countries here that will denote Red Cross Society that is not part of the International Federation of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent Societies. And the clear green is one Red Crescent Society that is not part of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. But as you can see, they are pretty rare. The International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement is a humanitarian movement with approximately 16 million volunteers, members, and staff worldwide. That is probably one of the most admirable aspects about the charity. It is one of those charities that is known by everyone around the world, and I would like to think that thanks to its long-standing policy of impartiality and neutrality, um, it is universally not well renowned, but it is universally thought of positively as a charity that everyone could support, that everyone could be in favor of. That is the reason why I wanted to start um, with this charity, with the charity of the Red Cross, so that sorry, we will start on a universal note. It was founded to protect human life and health, to ensure respect for all human beings, and to prevent and alleviate human suffering. Such a noble goal, is it not? Alright, so these goals are indeed pretty noble. But what about the history of the organization? Is this an organization that has existed for hundreds of years? Or maybe it is a bit more recent than that? Why was it founded? Was it founded as the result of a battle? We are going to find all that and more. History. Its foundation. And here we can see a painting portraying the efforts of the Red Cross after the Battle of Gravelotte in 1870. 1870. 1870. Until the middle of the 19th century, there were no organized or well-established army nursing systems for casualties, nor safe or protected institutions to accommodate and treat those who were wounded on the battlefield, no matter which side. To be clear, I am pretty sure that there were some around. I am pretty sure that there was one particular organization caring for one particular site, but they never had the universal scope that the Red Cross enjoys. I debate Calvinist, which Calvinism is, we can call it a portion, I suppose. It will be like a major branch of Protestantism, yes. Entonces actually In the modern day, it is largely represented by the Continental Reformed Presbyterian and Congregational traditions, my apologies, as well as parts of the Anglican. Anglican is totally pretty surprising considering that I'm pretty sure Henry Calvin was from Norway, was he not? Regardless, let us continue. The Swiss businessman Jean-Henri Dunant, this person right here. Actually, I think we can enter the wiki article here. Yes, this person. Grazie mille a Henry Dunant. A Monsieur, il signore Dunant. Grazie, grazie davvero. Traveled to Italy to meet the then French Emperor Napoleon III. Yes, to meet the French Emperor Napoleon III in June 1859 with the intention of discussing difficulties in conducting business in Algeria, which at that time was occupied by France. He arrived in the small town of Solferino on the evening of 24th of June after the Battle of Solferino, an engagement in the Austro-Sardinian War. In a single day, about 40,000 soldiers on both sides either died or were left wounded on the battlefield. Dunant was shocked by the terrible aftermath of the battle, the suffering of the wounded soldiers, and the near total lack of medical attendance and basic care. He completely abandoned the original intent of his trip, and for several days he devoted himself to helping with the treatment and care of the wounded. He took part in organizing an overwhelming level of relief assistance with the local villagers to aid without discrimination. And I think that is the thing that made the Red Cross really, really unique. It was the first time that a movement was done with the idea of universality. That is to say, with the idea of helping all the people involved in a conflict, not just one side or that side, which was, let's say, doomed to always result in a certain level of political partiality. Back at his home in Geneva, he decided to write a book entitled A Memory of Solferino, which he published using his own money in 1862. He sent copies of the book to leading political and military figures throughout Europe, and people he thought could help him make a change. His book included vivid descriptions of his experiences in Solferino in 1859. Maybe we could read that book together someday. It will be pretty nice, will it not? And he explicitly advocated the formation of national voluntary relief organizations to help nurse wounded soldiers in the case of war, inspired by Christian teaching regarding social responsibility and his experience after the battlefield of Solferino. He called for the development of an international treaty to guarantee the protection of medics and field hospitals for soldiers wounded on the battlefield. In 1863, Gustave Monnier, a Geneva lawyer and president of the Geneva Society for Public Welfare, received a copy of Dunant's book and introduced it for discussion at a meeting of that society. As a result of this initial discussion, the society established an investigatory commission to examine the feasibility of Dunant's suggestions and eventually to organize an international conference about their possible implementation. The members of this committee which has subsequently been referred to as the Committee of the Five, aside from Dunant and Moynier, were physician Louis Appia, a Swiss surgeon with special merit in the area of military medicine, who had significant experience working as a field surgeon. Appia's friend and colleague Theodore Monod from the Geneva Hygiene and Health Commission, a Swiss surgeon and co-founder of the International Committee, and Guillaume-Henri Dufour, a Swiss army general of great renown. And if I remember, I thought that he was the general of the highest ranking medical officer in the Swiss military at the time. A Swiss army general of great renown. 8 days later, the five men decided to rename the committee to the International Committee for Relief of the Wounded. You know what I think is really amazing about this, however? Is Signore Henry Dunant might not have been a common person. You can see that he was a businessman. However, he saw something in the world that he wanted to change, and he set out to a clear path of actually doing something about the suffering that he saw in the world. I think that is one of the most inspiring things about the tale of the formation of the Red Cross. He didn't simply throw his arms in the air and say, well, that's the way that things are, and call it a day. Nor did he take the example of some unreachable ideal or incredible figure that took a task of doing something exceptional that could hardly be replicated by the common person. He saw a problem, he analyzed the problem, and at the time when it happened, he presumably already had some kind of training to deal with an emergency. That is why he was able to organize this level of relief assistance and healing. He took the key lessons of that experience, formed them into into an organized thought and plan, and shared his plan with other people. He tried to share his experiences with other people as well as change their minds. Eventually, he was able to gather and out support, I think we can call it. And not people that saw the world the same way that he did, or that wanted to help in his cause, and he got together with those people. And they together drafted a plan to actually address some of the problems that they saw in the world. They gathered together and they discussed the different ideas that they had and the things that they could do. Rather than the fabulous example of oh wait, this doesn't have the jazz track, sorry about that. I didn't realize, my apologies. Again, it maybe it is not something as amazing or as incredible as him trying to directly stop the war or something like that. But most people will not be able to do something so crazy or so exceptional in their lives. This is small, this is this small but steady, unceasing movement of gradually getting together with other people to try and do something, um, to grab one specific issue that you see in the world and to try to then address that issue within the level of what is reasonable to you. That is the way that normal people can really make a difference in the world. And we see that the fruits of his labor certainly had borne fruit, right? That his labor certainly has borne fruit, right? Nowadays, everyone in the world knows the Red Cross. The the organization that he heralded, the idea that he wanted to bring to life, not only remained quite long after him, but it spread to the entire planet. That is the power of doing things together. Now, International Conference. From 26 to 29 October 1863, the International Conference organized by the committee was held in Geneva to develop possible measures to improve medical services on the battlefield. The conference was attended by 36 individuals, 18 official delegates from national governments, 6 delegates from non-governmental organizations, 7 non-official foreign delegates, and the 5 members of the International Committee. The states and kingdoms represented by official delegates were the Swiss Confederation, Austrian Empire, Grand Duchy of Baden, Kingdom of Bavaria, French Empire, Kingdom of Hanover, Kingdom of Italy, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Kingdom of Prussia, Russian Empire, the Kingdom of Saxony, Kingdom of Württemberg, United Kingdoms of Sweden and Norway, and United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. Among the proposals written in the final resolutions of the conference, and remember, it was a conference, it was not a reunion led by one particular leading figure. Everyone gathered together around a round table, more or less, to try and look for a common solution to a problem that everyone recognized was indeed a problem. Anyhow, among the proposals written in the final resolutions of the conference adopted on 29 October 1863 were the foundation of national relief societies for wounded soldiers, neutrality and protection for wounded soldiers, the utilization of volunteer forces, that could be you, for relief assistance on the battlefield. Well, I mean, maybe that will not be as attractive actually. I just said, hey, that could be used, risking your life in a battlefield. Okay, how good. Well, generally speaking, I am actually pretty sure that the many of the Red Cross forces, generally, you don't actually spend it at the front line, unless you are actually one of the volunteers that says, I want to go to the front lines. I am open to that. And I am pretty sure that there might be many strong people who are willing to take on the action. But yeah, I don't know if it is necessary to be at the front line either. The organization of additional conferences to enact these concepts, and there will be indeed many additional conferences. The introduction of a common distinctive protection symbol for medical personnel in the field, namely a white armlet bearing a red cross. That is the... Yes. It's the symbol. The universal symbol of the Red Cross. So as soon... It's so iconic, right? As soon as you see that red cross, you know that it is supposed to be a medical staff. Geneva Convention, National Societies, and the International Committee of the Red Cross. Only a year later, the Swiss government invited the governments of all European countries, as well as the United States, the Empire of Brazil, and the Mexican Empire, to attend an official diplomatic conference. 16 countries sent a total of 26 delegates to Geneva. On 22 August 1864, the conference adopted the first Geneva Convention. Hey, it's also the foundation of the Geneva Conventions? I actually did not know that at all. That's fascinating. For the amelioration of the condition of the wounded in armies in the field. Representatives of 12 states and kingdoms signed the convention. And those states were the Swiss Confederation. Did you notice something about the Swiss banner? What happens if you change the colors around it? You get a red cross, right? That will be meaningful in a bit. The Grand Duchy of Hesse, the Grand Duchy of Baden, the Kingdom of Italy, the Kingdom of Belgium, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Kingdom of Denmark, Kingdom of Portugal and the Algarves, Kingdom of Spain, the Kingdom of Prussia, the French Empire, and the Kingdom of Württemberg. The convention contained 10 articles, establishing for the first time legally binding rules guaranteeing neutrality and protection for wounded soldiers, field medical personnel, and specific humanitarian institutions in an armed conflict. Directly following the establishment of the Geneva Convention, the first national societies were founded in Belgium, Denmark, France, Oldenburg, Italy, Prussia, Spain, and Württemberg. Also in 1864, Louis Appia, one of the 5 founders if I remember correctly, and Charles van de Belt, a captain of the Dutch army, became the first independent and neutral delegates to work under the symbol of the Red Cross in an armed conflict. The Ottoman government ratified this treaty on 5th of July 1865. The Turkish Red Crescent organization was founded in the Ottoman Empire in 1868, partly in response to the experience of the Crimean War, 1853 to 1856, in which disease overshadowed battle as the main cause of death and suffering among Turkish soldiers. Actually, I'm sorry, we did skip a little bit. Signor Dinan is looking a bit older in this part. He's looking like more of an OG-san. The original document of the first Geneva Convention 1864. Wow, you really are seeing an historical artifact in here. And this is a portrait of the Committee of the Five. Wow. Gustave Mounier, Guillaume Henri Dufour, the person in the center, Henri Dunant, Louis Appia, and Theodore Monod. Finally, a memorial commemorating the first use of the Red Cross symbol in an armed conflict during the Battle of Thibault, Denmark, in 1864. My apologies. Jointly erected in 1989 by the National Red Cross Societies of Denmark and Germany. Let us continue. It was the first Red Crescent Society of its kind and one of the most important charity organizations in the Muslim world. I actually did not know that at all. I thought that the Red Crescent movement was founded entirely as an extension of the... Let me do a 1 minute Twitch chat. Oh dear, I didn't actually edit the... Sorry, that's really strange. I could swear that I did actually. Let's read about the Red Cross. About the history of the Red Cross. Yeah, it's just the title that wasn't changed. That's really weird. Now it should be... Excellent, okay. But no, apparently it was created independently. There was some discourse in Europe during the Great Eastern Crisis, the first use of the crescent symbol to mark medical personnel in international combat, as to whether the use of a crescent was allowed under the Geneva Convention. The Russian Empire and Austria-Hungary, the states most directly involved in the crisis, both rejected the Red Crescent. However, most other European powers accepted its validity. In 1867, the first International Conference of National Aid Societies for the Nursing of the War Wounded was convened. Also in 1860, in the year 1867, Jean-Henri Dunant was forced to declare bankruptcy due to business failures in Algeria, partly because he had neglected his business interests during his tireless activities for the International Committee. The controversy surrounding Dunant's business dealings and the resulting negative public opinion, combined with an ongoing conflict with Gustave Mounier, led to Dunant's expulsion from his position as a member and secretary. He was charged with fraudulent bankruptcy, and a warrant for his arrest was issued. Thus, he was forced to leave Geneva and never return to his home city. In the following years, national societies were founded in nearly every country in Europe. The project resonated well with patriotic sentiments that were on the rise in the late 19th century, and national societies were often encouraged as signifiers of national moral superiority. In 1876, the committee adopted the name International Committee of the Red Cross, which is still its official designation today. Actually, something kinda interesting happened here. You can see that the movement survived its founder, right? Because there was a common idea behind the concept of this movement. There was something greater than the founder, which was able to push it forward. 5 years later, the American Red Cross was founded through the efforts of Clara Barton. More and more countries signed the Geneva Convention and began to respect it in practice during armed conflicts. In a rather short period of time, the Red Cross gained huge momentum as an internationally respected movement, and the national societies became increasingly popular as a venue for volunteer work. As a matter of fact, my pilot has been thinking about at least trying to volunteer a little bit for the Red Cross or some kind of charity organization. It would be a good experience to have at the very least. Let's see, if I do some kind of significant charity work, like let's say for example at least 3-5 months of charity work, maybe I will try to add a little prop to my model. If it is with the Red Cross, for example, like maybe a little symbol of the Red Cross or something like that. Maybe that will be nice. And yet I also wonder, maybe there was already something in the air, so to speak, that made people be interested in the concept of So are we back online? Sorry about that. We suddenly got disconnected for a moment there. My apologies. But yes, maybe there was something culturally involved at the time with the with the idea of an international relief for the wounded. When the first Nobel Peace Prize was awarded in 1901, and around the same time, the Nobel Peace Prize, created by Henry Nobel, was also created, When the first Nobel Peace Prize was awarded in 1901, the Norwegian Nobel Committee opted to give it jointly to Jean-Henri Dunant and Frédéric Passy, a leading international pacifist. More significant than the honor of the prize itself, this prize marked the overdue rehabilitation of Jean-Henri Dunant and represented a tribute to his key role in the formation of the Red Cross. Dunant died 9 years later in the small Swiss health resort of Hayden. Only 2 months earlier, his long-standing adversary, Gustave Moynier, had also died, leaving a mark in the history of the committee as its longest-serving president ever. I'm actually pretty surprised that he's described here as his long-standing adversary. I did not know that apparently they had enmity between each other. Gotaro Mikami's Red Cross flag, with which in 1985 In 1905, he prevented an attack by the Russian army. A Japanese medical doctor. No. Sorry about that. Like completely missed. In 1906, the year 1864 Geneva Convention was revised for the first time. It was fine, no disconnect. No, there was a disconnect. Also, grazie mille Petra per essere tornato questa trasmissione. Grazie. It probably just wasn't noticed on the client side. The 1864 Geneva Convention was revised for the first time. 1 year later, the High Convention X, adopted at the Second International Peace Conference in The Hague, extended the scope of the Geneva Convention to naval warfare. Shortly before the beginning of the First World War in 1914, 50 years after the foundation of the International Committee of the Red Cross and the adoption of the First Geneva Convention, there were already 45 national relief societies throughout the world. The movement had extended itself beyond Europe and North America to Central and South America, just such as La República Argentina, Argentine Republic, the United States of Brazil, the Republic of Chile, the Republic of Cuba, the United Mexican States, the Republic of Peru, Republic of El Salvador, Oriental Republic of Uruguay, and the United States of Venezuela. Asia, the Republic of China, the Empire of Japan, and the Kingdom of Siam, and Africa, the Union of South Africa. So what I assume will be its first most well, it feels a bit odd to call it that, but I suppose you could call it its first most famous role, World War I. As has been established before, the Red Cross had already participated and done significant work at different levels. well before the First World War. But you could probably say that due to the scale of the first global conflict, this would also be the occasion where the Red Cross will have worked on such a global stage as well. So let's read. With the outbreak of World War I, the International Committee of the Red Cross found itself confronted with enormous challenges that it could handle only by working closely with the national Red Cross societies. Red Cross nurses from around the world, including the United States and Japan, came to support the medical services of the armed forces of the European countries involved in the war. On 15 August 1914, immediately after the start of the war, the International Committee of the Red Cross set up its International Prisoners of War Agency to trace prisoners of war and to reestablish communications with their respected families. The Austrian writer and pacifist Stefan Zweig described the situation at the Geneva headquarters of the ICRC. And here you can see a photo of Geneva in the Red Museum, apparently. The war from 1914 to 1918, the International Prisoners of War Agency, Researchers Department, German section, express messages and communications to families. So these were the people that were researching, where is this particular prisoner of war being held? Oh, they are in here. How can we connect them to their family? What do they wish to say to their family? It must have been really, really arduous and emotionally taxing work. Hardly had the first blows been struck when cries of anguish from all lands began to be heard in Switzerland. Thousands who were without news of fathers, husbands, and sons in the battlefields stretched despairing arms into the void. By hundreds, by thousands, by tens of thousands, letters and telegrams poured into the little house of the Red Cross in Geneva, the only international rallying point that still remained. Isolated, like stormy petrels, came the first inquiries for missing relatives. Then these inquiries themselves became a storm. The letters arrived in sackfuls. Nothing had been prepared for dealing with such an inundation of misery. The Red Cross had no space, no organization, no system, and above all, no helpers. So they had to adapt really quickly to a completely unforeseen situation. Again, I do imagine that at the time the mere concept of a global conflict, such as what the First World War ended up being, would have been completely unthinkable at the time. Just the sheer scale of it is something that, if it were not written history for us, we will have considerable difficulty comprehending. However, by the end of the year, the agency had some 1,200 volunteers who worked in the Museum of Geneva, amongst them the French writer and pacifist Romain Rolland. When he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature for 1915, he donated half of the prize money to the agency. Most of the staff were women, some of whom, like Marguerite Van Berken, Marguerite Kramer, and Suzanne Ferrier, served in high positions as pioneers of gender equality in an organization dominated by men. And here is the group picture of the volunteers, again mostly women, in front of the Museum in 1914. By the end of the war, the agency had transferred about 20 million letters and messages, 1.9 million parcels. Wow, that's a lot of. Wow. And about 18 million Swiss francs in monetary donations to prisoners of war of all affected countries. Furthermore, due to the intervention of the agency, about 200,000 prisoners were exchanged between the warring parties, released from captivity and returned to their home country. The organizational card index of the agency accumulated about 7 million records from 1914 to 1923. The card index led to the identification of about 2 million prisoners of war and the ability to contact their families. The complete index is on loan today from the International Committee of the Red Cross to the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Museum in Geneva. The right to access the index is still strictly restricted to the ICRC. During the entire war, the ICRC monitored warring parties' compliance with the Geneva Conventions of the 1907 revision and forwarded complaints about violations to the respective country. When chemical weapons were used in this war for the first time in history, the ICRC mounted a vigorous protest against their use. Even without having a mandate from the Geneva Conventions, the ICRC tried to ameliorate the suffering of civil populations. In territories that were officially designated as occupied territories, the ICRC could assist the civilian population on the basis of the Hague Conventions, Laws and Customs of War on Land, of 1907. This convention was also the legal basis for the ICRC's work for prisoners of war. In addition to the work of the International Prisoner of War Agency as described above, this included inspection visits to prisoner of war camps. A total of 524 camps throughout Europe were visited by 41 delegates from the ICRC throughout the end of the war. Well, here is an ambulance at the Red Cross. They look quite different from what we see now, right? It's kinda cute though. It is kinda cute. Oh, this is the symbol of yes. Reminder that you're awesome. I am sorry, I am pretty tired. Between 1916 and 1918, the ICRC published a number of postcards with the scenes from the prisoner of war camps. The pictures showed the prisoners in day-to-day activities, such as the distribution of letters from home. The intention of the ICRC was to provide the families of the prisoners with some hope and solace, and to alleviate their uncertainties about the fate of their loved ones. After the end of the war, between 1920 and 1922, the ICRC organized the return of about 500,000. Wow! It's difficult to imagine such a number, isn't it? Prisoners to their home countries. In 1920, the task of repatriation was handed over to the newly founded League of Nations. Oh yes, because the League of Nations was founded as at the end, or at the conclusion, I guess you could say, of the First World War. And also, reminder here for the copy the donate link, and again here you have the link for the donation charity campaign. I do apologize. Next time I will be more prepared. Which appointed the Norwegian diplomat and scientist, I apologize if I don't pronounce this right, Fridtjof Nansen, as its High Commissioner for Repatriation of the War Prisoners. His legal mandate was later extended to support and care for war refugees and displaced persons when his office became that of the League of Nations, High Commissioner for Refugees. Nansen, who invented the Nansen passport for stateless refugees and was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1922, appointed 2 delegates from the ICRC as his deputies. A year before the end of the war, the ICRC received the 1917 Nobel Peace Prize for its outstanding wartime work. So the organization itself received a Nobel Peace Prize. That is indeed quite amazing, right? It was the only Nobel Peace Prize awarded in the period from 1914 to 1918. In 1923, the International Committee of the Red Cross adopted a change in its policy regarding the selection of new members. Until then, only citizens from the city of Geneva could serve in the committee. This limitation was expanded to include all Swiss citizens. As a direct consequence of World War I, a treaty was adopted in 1925 which outlawed the use of suffocating or poisonous gases and biological agents as weapons. 4 years later, the original convention was revised and the Second Geneva Convention, relative to the amelioration of the condition of wounded, sick, and shipwrecked members of armed forces at sea, was established. The events of World War I and the respected activities of the ICRC significantly increased the reputation and authority of the committee amongst the international community and led to an extension of its competences. Here you can see some Red Cross nurses serving bread and coffee to American doughboys of the 16th Infantry, 1st Division, upon their arrival in Paris, July 4. That's actually true. Yeah, the US actually did participate, though in some, I don't know if limited capacity actually, during the first global conflict. As early as in 1934, a draft proposal for an additional convention for the protection of the civil population in occupied territories during an armed conflict was adopted by the International Red Cross Conference. Unfortunately, most governments had little interest in implementing this convention, and it was thus prevented from entering into force before the beginning of World War II. We can read the rest at another time, I think. But right now I think I'm gonna take a very small break. I do apologize that I am so low energy today, but at the very least it is serving as a good pronunciation exercise, so there is that. Okay, give me at least 5 minutes. Esta... Oh. 10 long years living a mere facade of life. 10 long years wasting my time on smoke and night. In my mind I hear melodies pure and unearthly, but I find I can't keep them apart without you, my Christine, my Christine. And then the day starts, the day ends, time crawls by, night still sin, pacing the floor, the moment's grip, yet I can't bear to sleep until I hear you sing. And weeks pass and months pass, seasons fly, still you don't walk through my door. And in eyes I count the silent days until I hear you sing once more. And sometimes in darkness I dream that you are there, but wake holding nothing more than cold night air. And years come and years go, Still I ache deep in my core. My broken soul can be alive or whole until I hear you sing once more. And music, your music, it teases at my ear. I turn and it fades away, and you're not here. Let hearts pass and dreams pass, let them die. Without you, what are they for? I'll always feel no more than halfway there until I hear you sing once Hello, Riviera. Hi. And hello to Tomo. Esta es la versión de Pasión Vega. La letra es... Esta es la canción de las noches perdidas que se canta al filo de la madrugada. Va como aguardiente de la despedida, por eso suena tan desesperada. Y ven a la canción de las noches perdidas. Si sabes que todo sabe a casi nada, acarreran los leotardos de la vida a bola de alcanfor, dormida en la almohada y en nombre de mujer, como la soledad, como el consuelo, los fugitivos del deber no encuentran taxi libre para el cielo. Esta es la canción de las noches perdidas. Lleva un crisante mojado en la solapa. Sube a la cabeza como ciertas bebidas. Se pega a la desilusión como una lapa. Esta es la canción de las noches perdidas. Quema como el gas azul de los mecheros. Miente como mienten todos los toreros. Ups. Tiene nombre de mujer, como mi corazón, como tu olvido. Los fugitivos del deber no tienen más amor que el que han perdido. Tiene la canción de las noches perdidas. Si quieres te la cambio por un rato en tu cama. Hierve como el ruedo en tardes de corrida. Va como los besos en los telegramas. Y tiene nombre de mujer, como la libertad, como la nieve, los fugitivos del deber cogen su maldición y se la beben. Tan, 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 tan. Tan, tan, tan. Ta, 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 tan, ta, tan, ta, 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 ta. Wonderful, maravilloso. Esa canción siempre me han encantado, incluso desde cuando era aún más pequeñito que lo que estoy ahora. Sí, esta es una canción que me encanta desde hace un buen tiempo. Excelente. So Falco, tell me, what's that? Huh?
Okay, sexy anime man, you will commit fraud. Hell yeah. No, I'm Twitch. Don't take that seriously.
Faker, the League of Legends player.
Whew, I wish I could help you. I don't know.
This stream is my food.
This stream is your food?
Yeah.
What was that?
They're pretty good. He smiled at me. Rua was manifesting Kensuke.
And I, with me,
bro.
have...
If you need food, I'm here for you. I got you, bro. Eat me up. Come on. Tear into my stomach. Eat all my insides out, baby.
Oh, these are... Anyway. Great. Okay.
Oh. He always runs while others walk. He acts while other men just talk. He looks at the sword and wants it all. So he strikes like thunderbolt. He knows the meaning of success. He needs some more, so he gets less. They call him the winner who takes all. And he strikes like yeah, okay. Sorry for such a long time. It seems that today I'm just not feeling very well, it seems. But welcome back. Hello. Hi, hello. Welcome back. No. It's in all caps, so it shall be. I can't quite yell right now, but welcome back. Thank you. Did not this caps lock wasn't. It happens. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Okay. Didn't mean to shout. It's okay. I understand. Don't worry. Seriously, you and Mitch are way too nice to me. I see that the live stream has 4 likes, even though it was a bit of a disaster. I truly do apologize. But you know, at the very least, it can be a learning experience. And at least for that, I can be pretty glad. Let me grab my pillow, my comfort pillow. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so what are the 2 things that I learned this time? Sorry. And also, Calcaro, grazie mille per essere tornato a questa trasmissione. Grazie. You know, one thing that is actually kind of funny. Okay, one of the things that I learned is that I had to spend a lot more concentration than I originally thought to actually speak with, not only to speak a correct English, so to say, but also to speak in a kind of charismatic way, if that makes any sense. Because there is a big difference in just speaking kind of mushy like this, and a considerable difference in speaking with clear articulation and with a clear intention. For example, let me read here. Also, the additional protocols of 8 June, the year 1977, were intended to make the conventions apply to internal conflicts such as civil wars. Today, the 4 convention center added protocols contain more than 600 articles, while there were only 10 articles in the first year 1864 convention. Right, there is a considerable difference in I don't know if I could call it quality or I could call it it just sounds different, and maybe right now it is sounding a bit much like distinguished gentlemen. But much like how sometimes in singing I had to try and sing with the head voice, Mickey Mouse indeed. In speaking, sometimes you also have to, sorry for laughing your tears with that, by the way. Sometimes you also have to practice different kinds of accents. For example, un piccolo gelato, per favore. A small ice cream, please. A small ice cream, please. Is the page you are reading supposed to show on screen? No longer. I was simply reading that segment as an example where I could so I could have words that I didn't need to think of beforehand, and I could concentrate completely on the pronunciation. Sorry about that. Anyhow, reminder that you're awesome. So, piccolo gelato per favore. A small ice cream please. A small ice cream please. Or English, a small ice cream please. Please give me a small ice cream. Well, that is English a bit more of. Please, would you kindly hand over to controls, please? It will be most pleasing to me if you could do the effort of handing over to control or buying me an ice cream. It will be much appreciated. No, you are awesome. Maybe we both are awesome. Wait. Maybe we both are awesome. How about that? Does that sound good? Yeah. Versus un pequeño helado, por favor. A small ice cream, please. They are all different, and you can certainly adopt an accent, but with a clear articulation. It should sound. I suppose it could be said that if you are an entertainer, or at the very least a vocal entertainer, you are your voice is one of your biggest tools. It's one of your biggest elements with which you work with. In the same way that a programmer. By the way, I plan to try out a bit of AutoCAD in a future stream. By the way, works mostly with code, or a builder works mostly with his tools. And there you see the ESL is living in, right? Because I had to think of what I'm saying right as I am saying it. You need to concentrate on polishing your vocal presentation. So, what is the funny thing that I said earlier? That I mentioned earlier. For a while, I sometimes check the audience composition. It tells you the statistics on YouTube, and it doesn't always tell you very accurate statistics, and sometimes it straight up tells you that it doesn't have accurate data or enough collectible data of the viewership to give you a current estimation. Message retracted? What was that about? Oh, what happened here? Oh right, cinema mode, I think. Sorry about that. Oh, that must have been the HTML page you are reading supposed to show on screen. Apparently in the client I read the chat, the converged chats from it doesn't delete the message. So that's interesting. Sorry about that. I got this right then. And for a while it told me that the gender composition, it tells you the age and gender composition of the audience. For a while it told me that it was 100% male, and that it was mostly males between 25 to 35 if I remember correctly. Which was a bit funny to me, because I was a little bit suspicious of the accuracy of that data, considering that I knew for a fact that some of the amici were ladies, were females. It does to a certain extent. I have reason to believe, and many YouTubers had hypothesized that YouTube kinda guesstimates that data. Also, there are a lot of female users that probably list their gender as male in order to not face as much harassment. The reverse is also quite likely as well, that there are probably some people who are guys and who identify as guys, but who for whichever reason set their YouTube profile gender as female. But there is also a suspicion that YouTube also kind of guesstimates the gender of viewership based on common interests or viewing patterns. So, for a while, 100% male, right? Or near 100% male. Then I did the Love and Dead Space stream. And after that, well, I guess even before that, it was something like, I don't know, 10-20% female or whatever. Maybe because of the coughing of Andy and Lele voice acting bits. And like yesterday, I was checking the analytics audience page, and it was saying 100% female. Now, I know for a fact that isn't the case either. So now I know for a fact that the YouTube audience gender age thingy is kinda like not super mega accurate. What? Yeah, I was quite surprised as well. Mm, there was a time where when my listed audience was also like something like 80-90% female shortly after I did that Nijisanji reaction video. Mm, generally speaking, when it comes to Nijisanji stuff, about it, it always like brings in like 80-90% female audience, etc. It was not exactly a surprise when Calix said that about 85% of his audience was female. um, Holostars can be a bit more 50-50, but there is also quite a heavy tendency towards it being a female demographic. For example, one of the clips with the most views that I did was that clip about Altair, right? When he mentioned about the things that saved him from graduation, that made him decide not to graduate. That video has about 91% female audience. Or, for example, the battle clip, this really old battle clip that apparently got me like 6 subscribers or something, by the way. The Altair clip apparently got me like 7 subscribers. That one has also about 85-90%, maybe a bit more actually, I think 95% or something, female audience. So sometimes there can be like a really heavy tendency towards one gender or the other. I assume that, for example, the more retro or the more shooter style games, for example, when I was playing Half-Life 2 or when I was playing Thief or the more older games, like that tends to attract generally a more male audience that likes the lore playing of the game, so to say, when I get really into the acting, etc. In the case of female viewership, I can totally see it for Love and Dead Space, because at its heart, Love and Dead Space is an atomic game. You wouldn't really have much of a reason to play it if you're a straight guy. With the K-Bat, maybe that the story is genuinely very, very good. So if you can get into the plot, and if you don't mind seeing MC being kissed by one of the love interests, etc., then it can be a pretty enjoyable experience. As far as Niji Senji goes, well, I don't know. I suppose it was seen as the home for male Vtubers for that reason. Oh, speaking of, by the way, let me include my my newer video that I did today. Please watch it and give it a like, so that the YouTube algorithm likes it. Hey, done. I don't remember putting my ever putting in my age and gender. It doesn't tell you, or it doesn't ask you to include ether data, but you can include it, or you can put it in somewhere in channel management. Sorry about that. I assume that if you don't, then it kind of guesstimates your gender or age based on your interest. And of course, YouTube is powered by Google, so they have a lot of data. They had a ton of data, more than we can even comprehend, quite probably. But the other thing that I realized is that oh, and thank you for the thumbs up. Grazie. I can't quite do the hat trick because I had my shoes on, so I can't really access the joystick. Or maybe I could press the button, but I don't want to dirty it with my shoes. Scusa per questo. Scusa per questo. Sometimes I seem to be able to kinda improvise, but a lot of the time, but there are also some occasions where I can't quite really do that, where I either become too tired or too anxious to really think of something on the fly. So I now realize that at least some specific streams require a certain level of preparation. For example, maybe I would have done a little bit better if I had scouted the Wikipedia article beforehand, and if I already had a few talking points ready or annotated somewhere in the computer. To have the stream experience flow in a smoother manner. If it is playing a game, then you already had the structure of the game itself to fall back on, in the case you can't think of something to be saying. But when it is just you, then it's also just you, in the sense that you are the one who has the sorry about that, who has to carry the entire stream, right? So it is better if you are prepared. When it is just a game, then, like I said, you can just play the game if you can't think of anything to say. And also that I need to physically prepare for a stream as well. Obviously, doing a stream might not be as tiring as, for example, running a marathon or something, but it does seem to be something that takes a bit of energy. So it clearly isn't something that I can do well if I am really tired, or if I am not physically prepared for it, and especially not if I am not mentally prepared for it. But well, at the very least, we learned those two things in this stream. I need to speak more slowly. I need to spend more effort and energy into actually talking correctly, and I need to have more of a general preparation for the streams, because now I realize just how anxious I actually get during live streams. Thus, knowing that generally speaking I am not going to be able to oh wow, this posture is good, this is good, and now recentering my spine. Oh wow, I feel like a completely different person now. Knowing that there are occasions where I will not be able to think clearly because of the anxiety, I now can clearly see that there will be some things that I will need to fall back and to rely on in order to make the stream a productive experience. And the campaign hasn't expired. I will likely try to do a $10 donation after the stream. Yeah, okay. I think after a few days, once I confirm that something will go right. Yes. I think that next week I will probably try to do myself a donation of $10. And I don't think that the campaign has anything of I don't know. You have to complete the campaign in a set amount of days or you will die. I hope that that isn't the case. I think that it isn't. So technically I can share the Tiltify link in many streams and in this or that Twitter message, etc. Yeah, that sounds good. By the way, I have been working on the props for the presentation, and also on for the Smash or Pass stream. It's not very fancy or anything, but it's at least something that I have been working on. Where is it now? Streams, special stuff for special streams, visual props. For example, this. Apply alpha in lineal space. It's so hard. Yeah, it really looks kind of silly. Hold on, we can already do the... I'm pretty sure we can already do the copying here. It's not gonna take very long. I guess I'm gonna have the normal version as the smash button non-selected. Oh no, it's pasted as a duplicate. I don't want that. I want it as a reference, sorry. Smash button non-selected, and then I change this to smash button. I move a smash button not selected to 1 to 2, and now I do a scale filter in here, and well, okay, and not that. Maybe not that. Maybe not this either. Nah. It actually could be kind of fun, right? And we can do a color correction here so that we can make the shine had a little bit of bloom. No. It needs to be darker. Clearer. Okay, let's just do normal. And let's add a color correction filter. Lower gamma and lower contrast, but especially a lower saturation. Oh god. Excellent. Okay. No. Here. Okay. It's pretty basic, but it is not really something that you need to. Sorry, that you need to worry about too much. And I think I can set up a basic animation with a hotkey so that when an option gets big, the button actually flashes like 3 times. So not big, big. Something like that. That was the main thing that had me a little bit stumped by that made the idea of the smash or pass so daunting. And the next time that I try to do a stream of this type, I know that I should try to have a few notes beforehand. Yeah. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. We will do a charity stream again. And we can continue with the Red Cross charity here and there. Yeah. Okay, we learned a few things today. I sincerely do apologize that still today's stream was not quite as entertaining as maybe some of the other streams are. But it was an opportunity to improve. And boy, do I truly realize that I seriously need to improve my pronunciation. It is something that I quite seriously need to work on. But especially I need to try and speak with more clarity and en una manera más pausada, in a bit of a slower manner. Because if I try to speak too fast, then I don't really become very articulate. Like if I speak slower, can I actually really get a grasp about the words that I am speaking. Like I feel that is when things are actually start working. At the very least, that is my impression. Okay. Every stream is an opportunity to improve and to get better. I will certainly be rewatching the bot of the Wikipedia reading with great interest to see if my hypothesis of a better English pronunciation is actually validated by the experience and by the evidence of the video archive. We will see each other on Wednesday, I am sure. I don't know what game for though. What do you want? This is your chance to vote on chat. Coffin of Andy and Lely? Love and Dead Space? Thief? Or Silent Hill? It's your chance to vote. By the way, about the Twitter Cliff Notes, there will be a post on YouTube kinda detailing a bit more of the situation. But I don't really know what to say about it right now, so I can't really. I apologize that I don't give you more details about that. I wish that it wasn't the case. I wish that things were better, but reality isn't as kind sometimes. We will talk a little bit about that. Sorry about that. On Wednesday, I am sure. But for the time being, that will be about it. Grazie mille a tutti gli gente che passeranno questa trasmissione. Grazie a Petra Leon and grazie a Calgerot. Thank you. Haven't seen you in quite a while, so I was quite happy to see you on chat again. Thank you, thank you. You are the awesome one. Yeah. Buono, questo è stato Canesta Narrativi. Vi voglio regalare a tutti gli amici molto molto felici. We'll see each other on Wednesday then. Okay. Next time it will be better. Thank you for the stream, and thank you for watching. Thank you. This stream are always nice. Oh, thank you. You're so nice. Thank you. Have a good rest. You too. Had a wonderful day at work and had an amazing rest after. Yeah. We will see each other on Wednesday. Thank you. Grazie davvero. Bueno, nos vemos. A dopo. See ya.